Happy Reelydays, Matt Coles. Wow. What an entrance.
Thank you.
That was terrific. Good move. Happy Reelydays, Cool City Conflicts. The final Reelyday, really. I mean, this is truthfully kind of post Reelydays. You know, it already happened. You got your gifts. What'd you get? Anything good? What'd you get for Happy Reelydays, Connor? Oh no.
Depression? No. Got this nice watch.
Oh, look at the drip.
Yeah.
Drip, drip, drip.
Nice Casio watch.
That's nasty.
Got some Doc Martens.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fit check.
These house slippers. Very comfy on my feet.
Very nice.
Socks. Some clothes. Very good. What'd you get?
Oh man. Well, first of all, I gotta say, Ghouls and Goblins, get ready to just always see me spinning like this for the rest of this entire show, the entire run of this show. Because I got a little office chair. That's what happens as you get old. You're like, what do I want for Christmas? I want an office chair. Got a big desk. You can't see that, but I got this big desk. For those who don't know, and which is probably most people, used to do the show on a very tiny little desk. Not a lot of room for stuff. Now I got all sorts of room for stuff. I got this nice light over here. Look at this. This is not great for the audio listeners, but I can increase the brightness with a swipe of the finger. You go down and go up.
You go ahead and do an episode of Cribs for us.
Episode Cribs?
Yeah.
I'm not standing up. I have no pants on. Yeah. I got some stuff to take a bath with. I love taking baths. Got some bath bombs, some lotion, some soaps and such. Some new scents. I got some new clothes as well. Some new Wretched Apparel, wretchedapparel.com. 10% off promo code Reely Scared. You can get it any time of the year. It doesn't have to be for Christmas. Maybe you got some Christmas money.
I got this.
Ooh. Swagging it out head to toe.
Yeah.
Looking good. I got some new books. I got the newest Junji Ito manga. I was very excited to read that. I made out like a king. Great gifts. Bunch of new candles.
Ooh.
Burn one right over there. It's almost done. You can see it's almost down to the bottom. I love burning a good candle. It was a nice, happy Reelyday for me. I hope it was for everybody at home, whether you're listening or watching. I hope you had a happy Reelyday in some form or another. I hope you enjoyed the day. Hope you just appreciated some time to relax and appreciate yourself. Treat yourself. You deserve it. That said, we do have one more episode in December. One more episode of 2020. It's our last one of the year. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
It's not been a full year since we've started the show. Not yet. We'll get there. But it's still crazy to be at the end. Well, in a lot of ways, it's crazy to be at the end of this goddamn hell year, right?
Yeah.
Some days it feels like I can't believe we're at the end. Other days it's like we should have got here 6 years ago. Time has been a flat circle in 2020. That's for sure.
Yeah, time's a construct.
Yeah, it sure is a construct. It sure do be a construct, though. So this is the last episode of the year. As you may already know, we announced it on Twitter. We pulled back the curtain a little bit last week and let you know we got a whole new format coming hot, coming strong in 2021 on Reely Scared. More guests, more movies. It's going to be more exciting and interesting and engaging than ever. Starting next week, we have Videodrew, all one word, Videodrew on to talk about Baskin, 2015 Turkish horror film. Following week, we're
about Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, about a haunted ice cream parlor. 32 scoops of death. Right? Or 32 flavors of death. 32 flavors, they're all death. Look at this. I could have saved all that for next week. That would have been great. Then we're going to have William Bibbiani himself, Bibbs, coming on. A bit of a schmodown invasion here. Talk about the William Castle flick, Let's Kill Uncle. That's going to be a blast. You can only watch that movie on YouTube, I think. Like, not renting it. You just got it's on there. You can just watch it on YouTube. So there's a little tip. Just type it in. It's on YouTube. Nobody's getting the copyrights to Let's Kill Uncle. We're going to have Jacob Horne on. director of short film Neutrals. He's going to be talking about Deadbeat at Dawn. It's got a great little B movie that I've not seen before, so I'm excited to check that out. And then we'll be wrapping up the month with Angela Rose, great Angela Rose, talking about, again, another William Castle joint, House on Haunted Hill, Vincent Price, the classic, 1959. So we have a killer, no pun intended, but a killer month of January. I am so fucking excited. Pardon my French, but I'm so excited to get into season 2 of Reely Scared, man. We got a hell of a slate. We're booking it up. February's getting booked up too. So if you're somebody who wants to be on the show, if you know somebody you'd like to hear on the show, tweet at us, DM us. You know how to find us. Throw it in the comments on this episode, podcast reviews, whichever. Get at us. We would love to have you. We would love to have somebody you're a fan of. Anybody who loves horror on the show in season 2. A new guest, a new friend every single week. I'm really scared in 2021. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We got a great show tonight, our last of the year, last of Happy Reelydays, our holiday horror marathon series. Of course, it's our book club. We're not talking about a film tonight. We're talking about a book. That book being Secret Santa by Andrew Shaffer. A very festive, very relevant, a perfectly timed release to talk about in our book club. The last we'll be doing for a while, in fact. So we'll be talking about that at the tail end of the show. No news. Oh, no news. I was a little sad there's really not been any super compelling horror movie news this week, which is a shame because with our new format coming up, I don't know. It could have been the last time we would do news in a while. So I was like, we need some big news bangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nothing.
Didn't serve them up. Nothing. So no news this week. That said, because it is the last show of the year, what we're going to do instead is we're just going to talk about some of our favorite horror films of the year. No need to quantify them. No need to be like the 10 best. These are the 10 top pants shitting films of the year.
Shit.
We'll talk about some of the horror films that we really enjoyed this year. Some we've done episodes on, some we have not. So we're going to just dig in and kind of reflect on this great year we've had for horror films. But we cannot do that. It's not possible. I'm not capable of talking about that. Because the question on the tip of my tongue.
Whoa.
Connor, what have you been watching lately?
Ooh, I've watched a lot. Let's see. Let's start with TV. I watched The Stand. I'm watching that. It's very good.
CBS. How's it going? Yeah.
Pretty good. Watched episode 2. It's really good.
Really good. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. That's a great recommendation coming from you as somebody who was not super compelled by it at first. And
yeah, I thought it looked like absolute butt water.
Butt water.
It's not butt water. It is it's like Avion water. It's pretty good.
Pretty good. I want to watch it. One of my gifts I got just got me The Stand by Stephen King, the actual book, because I'd never read it before, matter of fact. So since I finally got it, I'm going to go ahead and I think read it. Once I'm done, I'll finally check out that series and see how they did.
Yeah. I definitely want to read it too, because I have not read it either. So that's something I want to read. Also, the fiance agreed to sit down and watch Mr. Robot. She's watching it for the first time. I'm watching it for like the 4th time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is my 4th time watching it through, because I would watch it through every time a new season came out.
Is this your first time rewatching it since it ended?
Yes.
And so without obviously spoiling it, knowing what you learn in the final season, are you seeing it tracked from the start?
Yep, I'm picking up on so much.
Wow, that's really cool. I've wanted to do that since it ended because it's very much one of those.
From like episode 1, you're picking up on stuff. You're like, oh,
wow. So they really do like start seeding it from the beginning, huh?
Yes, yeah. You can tell Sam Esmail like definitely knew what he wanted to do.
Wow.
He kind of like had it mapped out. So yeah, really good. We're on episode 4 of season 1. Really enjoying it.
Hell yeah. How is she liking it so far? Is she liking it?
Yeah. I wasn't sure how she was going to like it. But we watched one episode and like the next day she's like, we're going to watch more Mr. Robot. And I was like, absolutely. And then we watched another episode, and we were going to go to bed. And she's like, "You can play another one."
Perfect. That's a great show. That's a very rewatchable show.
Yeah, it is. So been watching that. And then there's a lot. They reference a lot of movies in there, so I've been going back and watching a lot of paranoid thrillers. I watched 3 Days of the Condor with Robert Redford from 1975. Really good. Never seen it before. Very tense, like paranoid thriller. Loved it. I watched The Manchurian Candidate, the 2004 one with Denzel.
Denzel?
I watched the original. I watched Richard Donner's Conspiracy Theory.
Oh, okay. I've actually never seen
it. And Julia Roberts. That one's good. Very weird, like paranoid thriller meets comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Strange. And now I'm watching JFK. Have not finished it because it is like 3.5 hours.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been watching. Watched a lot.
Been keeping busy.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, that's what this time of year is all about, right? It's just sitting around doing nothing, enjoying yourself, right? I mean, especially this one.
Yeah, what have you been watching, bud?
You know, the trend typically is that I didn't watch anything, but that is not the case this week. Definitely a different week in my life, to be sure. I had a lot of time to kick back.
Real quick, and I watched Wonder Woman 84, and I loved it.
Good call. As did I. Yeah, I had a lot of time this week to just kick back, watch movies, and play Scrabble. Justin and I watched a lot of movies. Yes, Wonder Woman 84 is one of them. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it quite fine. She didn't love it. I thought it was a fun time though. Just would I have liked to seen it more on the big screen? Yes. Yeah. Sure. And I could have. That is playing somewhere out there in the ether, out there in the chaos, but it was a great one to just cozy in on Christmas night and just watch a gigantic movie that you've been waiting months to see. So it was a nice treat. I had fun with it. Some people didn't dig it. That's totally fine. Not a hill I need to die on, but I thought it was fun. Watched the Fifth Element. Been going back, watching a lot of movies. We've been watching movies either I hadn't seen before, or she hadn't seen before, stuff we hadn't seen in a long time. Just going back and watching like just great movies. So went back and watched the Fifth Element. Man, that one it visually holds up so well. Yeah, it does. I thought it was really remarkable how good it still looks all these years later. Just again, fun, great, pure sci-fi. Just a great trip. She watched all, you mentioned Donner, we watched all the Lethal Weapon movies. Oh. She watched all of them. I kind of came in and out.
I want to go back and watch those.
Again, talk about holding up, man. Because, okay, here's the thing. I hadn't seen all of them. Not all of them. And I always kind of had in my head, I was like, isn't the last one like not that good or something? I know Jet Li.
No, it's good.
They're all really good.
Yeah, the fourth one has Chris Rock and
Jet Li.
Jet Li. And who else?
Let's see. Is there any other big names?
Or was it the third one that had
you trying to think of you thinking of Pesci?
Yeah, Pesci.
Pesci shows up for the first time, and he's at least in I think he shows up in the second one.
Okay.
And then he's in all of them after that. Okay. Yeah, he's hilarious. Those movies are so funny.
Yeah.
They're all super funny. The action's amazing still. Again, talk about holding up. Like consistency of the quality in Lethal Weapon is pretty damn remarkable. 4 of those movies, and none of them are clunkers. That's, wow, impressive. I know it's always been like floated around like they'll do another one, but the last one ends so good and so perfectly with them being really, really old and getting the shit kicked out of them and like settling down finally, maybe a little bit. And I don't know. I mean, they really would be so old to do another one. They'd be very old, and one of them would be very
anti. Bad Boys for Life proved it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but Bad Boys are still younger than Lethal Weapon.
That's true.
Yeah, they're all old, but they can kind of pull it off a little bit better. Will Smith at least certainly can, more so than Danny Glover. I don't know, but those movies are great. we were going back through Back to the Future. She'd never seen any of the Back to the Future movies before. So we watched the first two. Still got to get to that third one. I know a lot of people stopped before that third one, but big teaser comes at the end, to be concluded. She's got to see how it ends. So we got to go back, watch part 3. But that's been a blast going through those again. And I'm sure I'm missing stuff. We watched a little Independence Day today. Hadn't seen that in a while. You know what? Again, that's the trend. Visually holds up pretty damn well.
Yeah.
But
gonna watch Resurgence.
I've actually never seen Resurgence. So
I walked out of it.
What's that?
I walked out of it.
Oh, you walked it, and you were there for free, weren't you?
Yeah.
Not even worth.
Still pissed. I was pissed that I spent time watching it.
Can't believe they made another one of those without fucking Big Willie style. Come on.
I know.
What are you doing? I know they brought Goldblum in
and hung it up, and they're like, there he is.
Yeah, they kill him off screen, don't they?
Yeah. He died on the moon.
What was he filming instead? Was that because of After Earth or no?
No. That was because of...
It was something else that didn't turn... Was it because of Suicide Squad?
Oh, yeah. It was Suicide Squad. Yep.
Well, that's kind of a... You can't win in that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what, but maybe if he'd been in Resurgence, it would have been better, and then thus a better choice. I don't know. Maybe not. You've seen it. I don't know if you could vouch that Smith could save it properly.
It's
probably not.
Bad.
I appreciate they bring Goldblum back. We stand our king, but you got to bring Will Smith in. Come on, that's the name of the game. I watched a little of that Roland Emmerich Heat. We watched Point Break, the original. Catherine Bigelow. Man, that movie rules. Man, that movie is just, they don't make them like that anymore. Just a dirty, crazy, like guitar.
The Chili Peppers are in it.
Yeah, oh man, Patrick Swayze's amazing mullet. Keanu's just like
Keanu rolling over his back and unloading a clip in the air.
Yeah.
That reminds me, I watched Edgar Wright's Simon Pegg and what's his face?
Nick Frost.
That trilogy of movies. So I watched Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End. Watch those as well.
Oh my
God. Jesus.
We've been on a tear, man. We've been happy Reelydays to us. Kicking back and watching some good movies. You gotta love it. It's been a crazy few days. Obviously, by now, by the time the Ghouls and Goblins are watching this, they will know. They've heard the news. They've seen the spot. They'll know, of course, my client, the Rager himself, Rick Radis, will be in the 2021 movie trivia Schmodown draft.
You're scouting. You're kind of some, knowledge for him.
Yeah, I'm just making sure. I'm not his manager. I'm just his advocate. He'll have a manager before long, I'm sure. But just kind of, I'm making his binder for him. Stuff like that. I'm writing some notes for him. He's a busy guy. He's on the phone. Making deals like right now. So I'm really excited for Rager, man. It's getting the big push. Love to see it. So been a crazy couple of days. It's been good. Gonna open my last one. It's the last episode of December, last of the year, and this is the very last Christmas sale in my fridge. I was like, I gotta save that. Because if I learn anything in October, they ain't putting this on the shelf after.
No, they're already gone.
I haven't looked. They're already gone. So this is it. Oh, if I can open it with my Predator bottle opener here. Yeah, what do you got there? S'mores?
Yeah, Shiner S'more.
Okay. This Predator bottle opener doesn't want to cooperate. Oh, there we go. Last time I tried to do this, I spilled beer all over my new desk I got for Christmas. While I was streaming. On Twitch. Twitch.tv, one of the best ways. You got to know one of the best ways to support this show and this channel is you got to follow us on Twitch. Twitch.tv Twitch.tv /WAT _ real podcasts. There it is, baby. just rolls up.
You streamed some Cyberpunk. I have not streamed in a while, but I will after the new year.
Yes. I streamed Cyberpunk, downloaded an 18 gig patch, and then the game crashed and ended my stream. So I think there's a little more work to be done on the PlayStation. And there was all sorts of other goofy stuff, like just objects appearing out of thin air, people disappearing, cars floating. All that stuff's fun. That stuff's good and fun, but it totally crashed and just ended my stream prematurely. And I was like, well, I'm going to bed. So if you watch that and you're like, that ended very suddenly, that's why. It ended suddenly for me too. And then I did a great Christmas stream, streaming holiday games and Dreams, which I thought was super fun. A lot of weird stuff in Dreams. I'm going to play Dreams again for sure and just kind of browse it and see what the hell is in there, because I found a lot of great stuff in my Christmas games. I got to like shoot snowmen with shotguns. I got to play as like a little ice cream cone dancing around. I played as Santa's daughter who was showing like ass cleavage. It was wild, man. There's all sorts of stuff in the Dreams. Yeah, that's all over on our YouTube channel. Archived broadcasts are on our YouTube. But if you want to catch us live, hang out in the chat. Much more fun that way. Follow us on Twitch. What else? What else can they do to support this show, Kenny? Oh, you didn't know.
Oh, I don't know. Buy stuff from wretchedapparel.com and use our promo code Reely Scared for 10% off.
That's it. That's it. You can do that. You know, we've been shilling it for the holidays. We've been saying you got to get this for the people you care about. Well, now it's time to get it for yourself. Let's go. What are you doing over there?
You can also follow us on Instagram at Reely Scared.
Oh, I see.
That's another way.
You're pointing at it. Yes, you can follow us on Instagram at Reely Scared. You can purchase some Wretched Apparel with your holiday bucks at wretchedapparel.com. Promo code Reely Scared for 10% off. You can also, of course, check out our Teespring.
Oh, yeah, Teespring. There's stuff on there.
That's right. Hey, get your Rager merch while it's still there. It's going hot. It's getting hot. Get it while you still can.
Get your Rager condoms.
Beer koozies. Weaved baskets. Persian rugs.
Bedroom toys.
Flip flops. Car shades.
Cough drops.
All this and more at the Who Are They Real Entertainment Teespring. Get it while you still can. All sorts of great ways to support this show. But of course, just by watching and listening, you're doing us a great service. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Whether you're new to the show or been listening all year, we super appreciate it. So why don't you say we hop into it and talk about some of our favorite horror films of this year, 2020. What a year it's been. An aggravating year, a depressing year, a dismal year, a cynical year. Yeah, not our favorite year that we've had, just as globally speaking. But what it has been a good year for is horror film. We've had so many movies to watch, enjoy, and discuss on this show. So we thought, why not go back around the circuit, do another lap, a little victory lap before we go into 2021, and reflect on some of our favorite horror films of 2020. What do you got, Connor?
Are we doing one by one, or are we just gonna run them down?
Let's kind of just shoot them back and forth. Let's talk it out.
Let's see. I would say first up for me is probably the most recent one I watched, the one I think I enjoyed the most, Freaky.
Ooh, I think you're freaky.
No, I really enjoyed this movie, and I can't wait to buy it. I think you can still only rent it. Can't wait to buy it. Loved it. Vince Vaughn is great. It was just a great time.
What a
Very fun.
Have you rewatched it since we last spoke on it?
I have not, because I'm not going to spend $20. I'm broke. The holiday just happened.
If you're going to spend $20, you may as well get it forever, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's a movie worth owning. No, Freaky was obviously, we did an episode on Freaky. I'm sure we've done an episode on a lot of these movies naturally, but some I have here we haven't. But yeah, man, what a fun movie. If you haven't caught Freaky yet, yeah, maybe you're somebody who rather would just own it or wait for the rental price to drop. But if you were gonna watch it one time and like never again, like I mean that I'd say that price is still worth it, you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The $20 is worth a rental if like you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But if you've seen it and you want to own it, I mean, just wait until you can buy it.
So fun. Such a great fusion of two different subgenres of film.
Yeah.
The body swap and the slasher. Christopher Landon is the master of the horror comedy right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Can't wait to see what he does next. Hopefully it's that crossover.
Oh yeah. Freaky Death Day, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. Top of the list here, not necessarily, again, I'm not quantifying it like this is the best one, this is the second best. I'm just collecting a couple that I enjoyed. But one of the first ones I thought of naturally is, of course, The Invisible Man. Not one that we've done a proper Reely Scared episode on. Who knows? In 2021, somebody wants to talk about The Invisible Man. Perhaps we will. Did a watch along on the channel, though, of course. One of the best just films.
Yeah, I have that on my list, too. It's just so good. Leigh Whannell is just amazing.
Terrific, man. I mean, like, when I think it's just so smart. And it was one of the first movies that came out this year where I was like, oh, this might be my favorite movie of the year. Like that was one of the first ones to make me remark that. Just what a great, intelligent reworking of an old Universal monster movie. Just so smart, so well acted, so well made. The restaurant scene, one of the scenes of the year, just what they achieve in those like 3 or 4 minutes.
In that hallway scene in the hospital. Oh,
yes.
I love that scene.
Yeah. Invisible Man is just terrific. It was, when it came time to do this, it was the first one I thought of. I was like, yes, of course I want to mention The Invisible Man. Leigh Whannell, the legend. Can't wait to see Ryan Gosling Howl at the Moon next year, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Somebody better pick the Wolfman next year because I'm going to make them talk about it. I want to talk about it.
That's probably one we're going to have to review.
Yeah, and I guess it's it bears mentioning, like, in the new year, you know, there will be those kinds of movies where it's like, we can't not talk about it. So we'll figure out a way. We'll figure out a way to maneuver it. So like we're not missing those big ones, you know, your Candyman and your Conjuring 3s and such. Like we'll still talk about the bigger new releases. We'll figure it out. You know, we're not done talking new movies for sure.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Can't be really scared if we don't talk about this one. The first movie we ever talked about on this show, and kind of been a staple of the show because, you know, the producer always comes on, big fan of the show, good friend.
Veronica.
What?
Veronica.
Veronica. Yes.
No, sorry. Which one?
1BR.
That's correct, of course.
Just a really taut thriller. Just, oh God. The movie like made my skin crawl.
Yeah. Terrific movie. Probably, I don't know. I've not been keeping track. Like that's something I'm going to do in 2021. I'm going to get back in the Letterboxd game and really stay on my watching habits. Probably one of the most rewatched movies of the year for me.
Yes.
1BR. And then obviously, you know, beyond just being a great movie, and it is a great movie. If you haven't seen it by now on Netflix, what you doing over there? Watch 1BR for Christ's sake. If you've been listening to this show, I don't know what sort of prejudice you have at this point that you haven't checked it out. The movie rules.
Yeah.
Like you said, tight thriller, you know, great original take on, you know, again, I don't want to say too much, I guess, but if you should have watched it by now, but great movie. Obviously very sentimental now, near and dear in my heart. Not only the first film that we ever discussed at length, man, we just picked the right one at the right time too, man. It was just like, couldn't have picked a better film to kick things off with. Made a great friend of the show out of it as well, Lok Mishra, who's like, truly, when I say friend of the show, it's like we're not overstating that. Like he's been our most frequent guest on the show. He doesn't just come in like, hey, I'm gonna promote my stuff and split. He'll come in and he'll watch Veronica with you. He'll watch He'll watch 2 Twilight movies with you. He'll just come in. He'll hang out. He's just a great guy, great producer, great visionary. And we keep saying, I can't wait to see what they do next. I can't wait to see what Logan Mystery's up to in 2021, along with David Marmer. I can't wait. But if you haven't seen 1BR, fantastic horror film this year. Keeping up with the theme of great people we talked to on this show, gotta talk about one of the most disturbing, maybe the most disturbing film of the year that I've seen. Hosts. That's plural, as in multiple hosts. Of course, again, I don't want to sound biased. You know, we talked to the directors and the stars of the film a few months ago during Reeloween, but not only one of the most fun episodes we've ever done on this show, just an absolute debaucherous blast with those people. Just an amazing time. But man, what a killer movie. It was one of those things where I was like, you know, when you have guests on, you're like, okay, I'm gonna watch their movie. I hope I like it. You know, it'd be a shame if I didn't. And I watched that and I was like, holy shit, I get to talk to these people in a few days because this thing is one of the most. I talk about the restaurant scene from Invisible Man. There's a scene in this neck and neck in terms of like shock value where it was just like, you know, and it warns itself to not knowing what it is prior to going in. But truly one of the scariest movies, I think, of the year.
Yeah.
One of the most shocking and just disturbing films. But again, a great twist on possession movies, a great twist on home invasion movies. Not two things that I've seen cross over very often. And like, how would you cross them over? And kind of a holiday movie. So, yeah. I mean, you know, we're past the Reelydays, but December ain't up. If you're like me and you got the tree hanging still, throw on some Hosts. It's a great time to watch Hosts. So I can't recommend Hosts enough. Again, that is Hosts as in plural.
Yeah, I loved Hosts. I also loved Host.
Yeah, singular.
So that's next up. Host, the Zoom seance movie. Very good movie. You know, it's only 50 minutes and it is scary as shit. That movie will pucker your butthole a little bit.
Yeah, that's one way to say it. Yeah, I think like if you're gonna pick like a real kind of defining film of the year, I mean that Host has been like nothing else in terms of acclaim and like credibility. It's been
it really was a cultural revolution for horror.
Yeah, places and people that don't normally talk about horror films, especially a small little movie that's like premiering on Shudder, you know, exclusively to Shudder, and it's not one of these big streamers or anything. Didn't get it. Obviously, because of the year we're having, didn't get any real theatrical release. I think it's getting kind of one now throughout the UK. Mm-hmm. Spots that have done better than anywhere in this wretched country has done. Wretchedapparel.com, 10% off Reely Scared. But yeah, it's been, again, we've been kind of harping on the idea of like pandemic thrillers and like, oh my God, are we really gonna have to do this? But this is the movie about the pandemic because it's not about the pandemic. It's just taking the limits of the time we're living in and using them as a creative tool. It's well acted, well written, just super effective, short and sweet and straight to the point. Host is, again, one of those where it's like, I don't have to recommend it to you. If you're a horror person, you checked out Host, but it lives up to the hype. Host is fucking awesome. One of those ones that made me feel the way I did for the first time watching something like Blair Witch or like the first Paranormal Activity, like, you know, those kind of classic found footage films where it's like, oh man, this does feel kind of real. It just kind of affects you a little bit, gets you a little bit. Host rules.
Yes, it does.
Another one I've got, this is one we didn't get to do a proper episode on because I believe it came out before. I definitely watched it before we really started doing this show. My man, Nick Cage, The Color Out of Space. That one's by Richard Stanley, I believe, right? It's the director's name?
Yeah.
It's the only film of his I've seen before.
Yeah, and he was the original director on The Island of Dr. Moreau before he got kicked off. Yeah. If you haven't watched that documentary on him and his failed Dr. Moreau, it's definitely worth a watch too. But yeah, Color Out of Space. Woo.
Yeah, his reputation as kind of this mad scientist director definitely perceived itself in this film. I was like, yep, lives up to the hype. This, oh man, I can't. We've said it a number of times, but you can't undersell the potential of a director who knows how to direct Nicolas Cage. Not many people are up to that task. I certainly wouldn't be up to that task. I don't think it's an intimidating. It's a tall order. But if you know how to like project the potential and the madness of Nick Cage, harness it, weaponize it, you can really spin gold with it. And this is one that just like constructed for him. Just crazy, obviously adapted from the Lovecraft story, but just fucking nuts, man. Just some of the greatest body horror of the year. Some of the greatest creature design of the year. Gross movie.
Very gross.
Very gross. Without saying too much, towards the end, the two people and they're together and they want to die, and just fucking harrowing, man. Just weird and cosmic and gross. There's a lot of alpacas in it, and Nick Cage going loud. If you like Nick Cage and Mandy, which obviously we all do, if you like him in Mom and Dad, if you're excited for Willy's Wonderland next year, of course. Again, we have to talk about that next year. No way from that. Yeah. You got to check out Color Out of Space. I think that's on Shudder right now.
It is.
Perfect. Check it out. Color Out of Space. Never got to do a full-blown episode on that one, but
yeah, that's sad.
Loved it. That
would have been like a 4-hour episode.
Never say never. I'm just saying. You never know in 2021. Our hands are off the wheel in 2021. Our guests are going to decide our fates, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. What else? What else you got?
The Wretched.
The Wretched.com. Wretchedapparel.com?
No, The Wretched, the movie. But yeah, definitely go ahead and go to wretchedapparel.com and buy some Wretched apparel. But no, we're talking about the movie The Wretched. A great movie. Did we do an episode on this? I think we did.
We did, yes.
Okay, we did. God, we've done so many at this point. I forget what we've done.
I know.
No, yeah, this is a great one. Did this at the kind of the beginning of the summer. Saw it at the drive-in.
Yes.
So good at the drive-in. It's like such a good drive-in movie. Good witch movie. Good creature design. Good scares. Again, one of those fun horror movies.
Yeah, just a blast. I don't think like witches are played with enough in kind of contemporary horror. The only other one that immediately comes to mind is like the remake of Suspiria.
Yeah.
But this is like really very literally kind of creating a witch, and showing how scary like a more like creature feature type witch could be. And it's just great. It's fun. Yeah, it's straightforward, it is exactly what you think it is, but God, it's just a blast. I don't even know what to compare it to, but it's just fun. And
it reminded me a lot of like Fright Night.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, where like the kid next door said he sees a ghost or a vampire or a witch, and the adults don't believe him, and so he goes out on his own to try to prove everybody definitely a witch living next door.
Yeah, there certainly is a
very much akin to Fright Night. And then that twist at the end. Did not see that coming. Good twist.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot. There is a great little swerve at the end there. Yeah.
Very good.
Wretched rules. Yeah, great summer drive-in movie, and I'm sure you can grab it for a couple bucks. Now I don't know if that's on.
It's on Hulu.
Oh, it's on Hulu. You love it. Got to go catch it on Hulu then. Wretched Rules. That's definitely one I'll come back and watch again sometime because it's just fun. Just a fun creature feature. Looks great. Recommended big time. Another one on Shudder I liked a lot. We did an episode about this way back when. Blood Quantum. It's Jeff Barnaby zombie film taking place on a native reservation in Canada, where the world has gone mad and fallen into a zombie apocalypse, and only indigenous people seem to be immune from whatever it is, turning people into bloodthirsty ghouls. This is great. I love. I almost hesitate to say I love zombie movies because it has become so just overdone.
Yeah.
Run into the ground. I think that's why I like this so much, because I was like, oh, this is like inspired. This is hearkening to the original, Romero days of zombie film. This feels a little more clever, a little more well written, and not just it's not the same old tropes of, oh, the zombies are here and the survivors turn on each other and somebody got bit and they are hiding it, and it's just like it doesn't do it. It definitely, I think it communicates what it wants to say without in a way that feels on the nose or like it's holding your hand. It delivers the ideas to you very, very naturally. Also, while also being a great violent zombie film.
Yeah.
Following this group on the reservation. Great. And, I said it before, and we said on the show before, but, generally speaking, not enough indigenous representation in film, even extending to independent film and horror film. And this was just a great example of why those types of stories need to be told. It was just inspired. Nobody else could have told a story like this. Great. I loved it. One of the best zombie movie I've seen in a long time. And I'm sure there's been some good, I think there's been a couple big ones out this year that I haven't seen. But there's a reason I came to this one before I got to those, and I love that one a lot. Blood Quantum, definitely recommend it.
Next up, I got The Rental.
Oh man, The Rental! I kind of forgot about this one.
Yeah, I really like this one. Got Dave Franco in it, Alison Brie, Dan. What's his name?
Who the hell's in that movie?
Dan Stevens.
Dan Stevens, you're right. Yeah,
from The Guest.
Yes.
So good. This movie's Dave Franco's directorial debut.
That's right.
Such a good another home invasion movie. You go to the cabin in the woods. Yeah, it was the cabin in the woods.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah. And whenever you go to a cabin in the woods, shit happens.
Even if it's an Airbnb, you think, oh,
yeah,
great reviews, pictures look good. Nope. No. Terrible idea.
This movie was so tense. It was just for a directorial debut for someone who's primarily known for like comedy. Like it was so just out of left field, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, not the movie you would expect Dave Franco to make, especially first time at bat,
Yeah.
And from what I do recall of it, it looks really good, really well shot.
Yes.
Obviously has a lot of great scenery to play with, but still looks great. Good performances in it. Yeah, I thought it was a pretty damn good debut, for someone making the leap from actor to director. Pretty good debut. I will be curious if he does more stuff like that, or if the next thing's going to be a lot different. I don't know. I don't know how much of a horror thriller type guy Dave Franco is, but apparently to at least some sort of remarkable degree.
Yeah.
Good pull. The Rental.
Yeah.
Good pull. That one's a good time. Another one, we talked about this one on the show. Oh man, this is a nasty one. Possessor. This came up quite recently, but it made an impact on me, to be sure. I was very excited to see this one. Probably one of my most anticipated throughout the year. All the critic reviews, stuff coming from festivals. I was like, this just sounds like supremely my shit. And
Possessor was on my list too. That movie just rules. It's so cool. So just gross.
Almost like, I don't say this often, but like almost too violent. You know what I mean? Like really gets in there. Really takes a second. Like gives you time to think about it before it stops showing it to you.
Yeah.
And just a great sci-fi spin on horror.
Yeah.
Great original concept. Reminded me of something like some weird anime or almost a weird video game, but then deconstructed and turned into this Cronenberg surreal body horror nightmare film. Wow. It is great. Weird and disassociative and like detached, like a real bummer too.
It feels like a fever dream.
Yeah, it's just kind of a downer, which is not what you would think. You'd be like, oh, well, my favorite of the year. It was a downer, but it was just a great, dark, speculative sci-fi, kind of quasi cyberpunk in a way. Not in a like overt.
You got that like you've got that techno like score, that synthy score, and then you have like it's futuristic. It's like cyberpunk, but not too in your face about it.
Yeah, it's not quite flying cars and robots, but technology's advanced, but it seemingly made our lives much worse, which is like a core tenet of cyberpunk fiction, and made me like ask more questions. Like I was like, what else does this world look like? It's you get this very thin slice of the world. You just zone in on these particular characters, and get the world through their eyes. But Possessor was great. Just a great, brooding, dark, and on the surface, maybe you wouldn't even think it was a horror film, but one of the most unsettling movies I think I've watched this year. Loved Possessor. Watch the uncut version.
Yes. Because I think that's all you can get.
You may as well.
The last movie on my list is I'm thinking of ending things.
Oh, one of our more divisive choices on this show. Yeah.
Love this one. I'm just an Andy Kaufman fan. I loved how this movie looked. I like the tone of it, just how downbeat and like weird it is.
Yeah.
I thought Jesse Plemons was fantastic in it. Such a good movie. Yeah. I loved it. I know you weren't too high on it, but
I mean, I wasn't down on it. I just don't know that I enjoyed it as much as you. But you gave it a straight 5, if I remember.
Yeah, I did.
Which doesn't happen often. I think you've given that and Gremlins a 5 on the show, yeah?
Yeah. Because Freaky, I gave a 4.5, but yeah.
So close. So close.
So close.
No, I dug it. That's definitely one of the stranger movies I've seen this year. I actually went ahead and it was like I didn't love it, but I was so interested. Like I was curious about it. I went and read the book afterwards because I was like, I want to get more into this and figure this thing. Like I feel like I had to figure it out, which some people don't like watching movies. They got to figure out afterwards. And I can understand. Like I can totally understand when somebody would be like, I didn't really vibe with this. Like some people are like, I didn't get Tenet, right? And it's like, oh, you should probably pay closer attention. But if you're like, I didn't get this, I'm like, yeah, I understand. I understand. It's like almost
Andy Kaufman for you.
It's almost like it's not just plainly presented to you. It is something you have to
really think about and digest, and you have to go back to it. And I don't know. I think it's a beautiful movie. Like for like a horror adjacent film, it's strangely beautiful.
One of the definitely most tense and like atmospheric movies, because not a lot is happening on screen necessarily. It's like you mentioned Fever Dream and Possessor. This felt like a fever dream to me. This felt like waking up in a cold. Like I had this weird dream, man. We were driving. We drove for like hours, and then we got to my house and we met my parents. But like one of them, I went upstairs. I came downstairs, and now one of them was 80 years old, but I didn't mention it. And then we drove. And then we just got in the car and drove back. Like we went to my school. Like it does feel just like a terrible, terrible, scary dream you have.
Yeah.
Disorienting. I interestingly enough, I would like to revisit it because I read the book and that made me like it more. So I kind of want to go back and watch it again. But you got to be in the right headspace to come back to that movie. Yeah. It's one thing to approach it for the first time to like, what's this all about? It's a whole other thing to know what it is and come back to it. Yeah. One of the, I would say, generally speaking, kind of a polarizing movie, and that's no surprise. Definitely. But also, little first time you and I we're just like, yes, love it, same time. Like we had to kind of talk it out a little bit, but I did like it, and it's got to be said, 5 stars coming from you is no small praise. So big movie. I think that's everything I had written down. Was that everything you had written down?
Yeah, that's everything I had.
There it is. Some of our 2020 horror favorites. And I still feel bad because there's so many great horror, at least as I'm told, great horror movies that I haven't had time to fucking watch this year. Like,
yeah.
Considering that we've done this just about every Thursday since May?
Yep.
This year. It's remarkable to me that there's like ones that fell through the cracks. Like I still need to watch like His House because I heard that one's the bomb. Did I get a splinter? What the fuck? How did I get what? What did I do? My finger hurts quite a bit all of a sudden. That's weird. That's weird. What happened to me? His House. I've heard that's quite remarkable. What is it? The Dark and the Wicked. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
I heard that rules. New one that just came out. Hunter. That's apparently
I heard that's real good.
I want to check out Sputnik. I still gotta watch Spiral. Not the from the Book of Saw, but over on I think is it on Shudder? Shudder.
Yeah.
Heard that rules. There's like so many great horror films that I still haven't watched. There's so many movies from this year I still haven't watched. But even horror, which is like, how the hell did I pull that off? Doing this every week. New release movies every week, and there are still some since we started that we didn't get around to watching. Nuts. So I want to try to catch up before the year's over because I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice. But that said, so many great horror movies this year. I know, it's been a weird year for movies, obviously. And the weirdness is not over yet, as we've seen. We just saw for the first time what these sort of streaming theatrical concurrent releases look like with Wonder Woman. So we're like just getting in the next phase of whatever this all is. But a common thing I've seen people propose is like, oh, movies didn't really come out this year. There was no movies came out. No good movies came out. They didn't put any movies out. It's just like horror has been showing up in a big bad way this year. You didn't get as many blockbusters, obviously, as you would expect. You didn't get your tentpole $500 million budget films. But I got to say, man, for somebody who has two guys who've been doing this every Thursday since May, when we started, there was a concern in my mind of like, what if we run out of movies? Like if we do new release movies, is there going to really be a great new movie to talk about every week all year? And there has been, and some we like more than others, some we love, some we like, whatever it is, but there has been something worth watching and talking in the realm of horror all year. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's just worth recognizing. This genre and this community has shown up big time. And I don't think it's a coincidence in a year that has just been pure, unrelenting dog shit for everybody. That films that reckon with our worst fears and insecurities and anxieties and like manifest it and put it on the screen in a way that you can confront it from the safety of your own home. I don't know. I found that therapeutic. Yeah. And I'm sure I'm not the first to say something like that. I've seen similar sentiments and articles and even studies put out this year about, how horror film and stories, engaging with them can be healthy when times are tough. They can be a healthy conduit for battling depression and anxiety. And I mean, people have been, battling those ideas and those feelings and those illnesses, I think more than ever this year, probably. It's been a very tough year. Yeah. So I just want to shout out horror, I guess, really, as a concept. Didn't stop showing up, didn't miss a beat. Some horror films got pushed back, so be it. Didn't matter because so many great films came out this year, so many different types of stories. And it's been a blast talking about them this year. All year long. And we've got a little collection here, but there's even more movies we're checking out. I mean, if you're listening, hey, obviously it's pre-recorded. Throw it down in the comments on YouTube. Tell us what horror films helped you get through this year. What were some of your favorites? Shout it out. Let us know in the comments. Let us know in the podcast reviews. I'd love to hear. Tweet at us. I'd love to hear what movies you love because there's been so many we're talking about. Hell yeah, I love horror. I'm so proud of the horror show.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Horror's all right. Whatever. Let's move on.
Well said, my friend. We've got a book club. We got the last one for the foreseeable future. The last one of the year. And we'll see when the next one comes around because we're introducing a new format. But said it at the top of the show. Book of the month in the Reely Scared book club. Secret Santa by Andrew Shaffer. A holiday-themed horror comedy novel. About Lucy, a horror.
Did you have this problem while reading it? You always wanted to read it as Lucy.
Lucy, when I first engaged with it, I wasn't sure. I think I did it first, and I was like, "Oh wait, it's Lucy, isn't it?"
Yeah, I had to keep doing that till I got halfway through, and I was like, "All right, it's Lucy."
Yeah. It's a particular way to spell the name. I guess it makes it stand out more for you. When you see that on the page, you're like,
yeah,
this is a particular Lucy I've not met before in literature. Lucy, a horror book editor, is laid off from her prior employer when they're absorbed by a much bigger publisher. I think they might even say Simon & Schuster. I think they might say they're taken in by Simon & Schuster. I don't know. But she's laid off from her job, looking for a new one, and goes to this. I forget what the publisher she works at.
Blackwoods?
Blackwood Patterson. There it is.
Yeah.
Blackwood Patterson. A very old school, esteemed, publisher of high literature. They don't put out smut in those horror dime novels. She goes in, shoots her shot, pitches herself, wants a job as an editor, and is demeaned and ridiculed and shown the door. And on the way out, she tells the head honcho, Blackwood himself, you wouldn't know a good horror novel if it bit you in the heart, and your cold dead heart. And he promptly has a heart attack and dies right there, knocking off a spooky doll, a
Perta.
Sort of a European, like Polish, I believe. German.
Yeah.
German folklore. Forgive me if I'm hazy on some of the grittier details. I read this
today.
Yeah, you read this really recently.
I read this today. I read this from the hours of 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Good Lord. Yeah, you right up to the wire, man. I started this
day at work. What can I say?
I started this on December 1st and tore through it. So I got through it real quick. In some ways, I wished I hadn't, because now it's like I'm terrible at retaining information. So forgive me.
Maybe I can help you fill in the blanks, buddy.
Thanks. Thank you, Top Goblin. So, and let me said, it is a quick read. You can see this is probably the quickest read we've ever done on this show.
Yeah, when it got down to the last few days, and I was like, "Oh shit, we have a book club in 3 days." I was like, looked at how many pages. Oh, only 210 pages. Hell yeah, I can do this. And still pushed it off. And I was like, "Oh, I gotta read this today." Good thing it's 210 pages.
You start to see why Connor maybe needs a break from the book club. Huh? No, I get it. Book club, reading a book is not like watching a movie. It's a much bigger commitment.
Yeah, it's a daunting commitment, and I've loved it. It's just these past 2 months I've just been like, oh god.
I hear you. It's easier sometimes than others.
It's just been so busy. So like the last thing I want to do is stare at something else.
Yeah. So she gets this doll, and she gets the job and works her way into the publishing house. It's set in the 80s. It's very, as I understand, very inspired by the backdrop of 80s horror publishing at a time where like Stephen King is really starting to take off, and the challenge presented to her is to save this dying old publishing house. She needs to find the next Stephen King, the next great horror author, and publish their book to secure her job and save the company. All while terrible things are happening all around her. The Perkta doll is given to her in a Secret Santa, company swapping gifts, mystery gifts. She's never able to find out who gave it to her, and it seems like once it's introduced to her life, terrible things happen to anybody who gets in her way. Connor, what'd you think of Secret Santa?
You know, it was fine. It was fine. There's a few parts that I really liked or thought were so like just insane that I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
But I will say like the prologue I thought was more interesting than the rest of the book.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, just like the first chapter.
Yeah.
If even that. Yeah, prologue, like you said, just a couple pages.
Yeah. Where it takes place like in Nazi Germany during World War II. I thought that whole section was really cool. And then it cuts to the 80s. And then, like, they, you know, it's fine. I enjoyed following those characters. I thought there were some good kills. Like, the secretary that quit when she kind of is piecing together everything and leads back to, I think it was Agnes, her apartment. Yeah. And Agnes just like cuts her belly open and then, like passes out, and then her like spine like fucking turns to dust and her head like falls at an impossible angle. I was like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah, it's once it gets there, it's quite an over the top book, you know, in a good way.
Digby snorting his dad's ashes and saying it's daddy.
Okay, so we talk about this sometimes. I'm curious. You may not have an answer to this, but sometimes we have this habit of like casting a character in our head as if it was a film that we were watching. Did you do that at all for that character? Because I had one.
I tried to, but there were so many. I want to hear what yours is.
John Hamm.
John Hamm, really?
Okay. Think of John Hamm sitting at that table, like sweaty in his hair and his face, going, "It's daddy!" Like it took me a while to get to him, but there was.
I pictured a young Nick Cage doing that.
Well, yeah,
but it's quite impossible to do that now. I don't know who would be good. I could see Ryan Gosling doing it.
Yeah, I could see that as well. That's a good point. I was almost going to say he's too handsome, but I cast John Hamm, so pretty fucking handsome. And with Lucy, I saw Victoria Pedretti, who played Danny in Bly Manor.
Okay.
And I think it's purely because they kind of have a similar approach of like, she's getting a new job. She goes to interview for it, and it goes terribly. And I think I
pictured Alison Brie.
Could see that as well. Oh, Alison Brie, by the way, what I've been watching, I watched Happiest Season.
Oh, is that good?
I enjoyed it. I liked it. She plays a very different character in that than is typical for her. I liked it. Because I'd remarked to Jess, I was like, I haven't watched like a proper holiday movie. You know, I've been watching Jack Frost and Silent Night, Deadly Night. I shouldn't say those aren't proper holiday movies. They're certainly proper in my world, but I hadn't watched a traditional, just kind of Christmas movie. So we watched that. I liked it. It was funny. I enjoyed it. Yeah, but this book gets to the gruesome stuff, like the real horror stuff. That's when I was like, all right, here we go. Because I don't want to say it takes a while to get going, because I mean, you can speak to this. You read it in a day.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any other book we've done in this book club that you could have read in a day.
No, quite impossible.
Yeah, we've read some pretty dense books, and I wonder, because I'll mention at least as far as I could see, you can't get this in hardcover, which is atypical of a new release. You know, this just came out. It wasn't like we went back and found some Christmas horror novel that came out. This just came out 2 or 3 or 4 weeks ago.
I do like this like paperback.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. I don't know. I was surprised when I opened it and saw it was a paperback, but it's kind of got these glossy letters on it.
Yeah.
Kind of neat to have a paperback. First paperback we've covered in the book club.
Yeah, the lettering on it is like, the cover is really cool. Like, looking at it right now, it's kind of like holographic almost. Like, it's cool.
The first thing, cover's cool. Good cover.
Cover's cool. How did you feel about the epilogue?
Oh, right. So the epilogue is when because first, yeah, after you learn, all the employees are secretly sacrificing interns for years to appease the Perkta. Forgive me. Yeah, forgive me if I'm saying that wrong. I'm sure I am. Maybe it's like Pershta. I don't know.
They tell you how it's pronounced. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, you do the honors. But yeah, I was surprised at the end when Lucy was like, I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna show a little mercy. I was like, really? After all that? I know you're in charge of the publishing house, but you're gonna show him mercy. And no, that was like a great little wink towards the end of like, no, she's actually gonna feed him to the Perkta to appease it. And then at the very end, right, she loses it, right? It goes for a
Perkton. Car. That's a letter. PAIRK 10. Perkton.
Okay.
Perkton.
Which, by the way, I understand Perkton is obviously I did the solo recording for Krampus, but you remember in Krampus, there's like in the attic, there's like this scary like angel doll.
Mm-hmm.
That was a Perkton.
Oh,
yeah. There you go. So it all comes back around.
All
on brand. All comes back to the holidays, baby. There's that great kind of like Tales from the Crypty Twilight Zone ending of like the Perkton gets passed again to a new host and abandons Lucy in her old age. Mm-hmm. I liked that little ending. Like you, I was kind of surprised that we never went back to the Nazi Germany story because they set it up and you kind of get it. You fill in the blanks, but it never goes back explicitly and like tells you, well, he killed the guy with an axe and he got the Perkton and he can't like they do establish like he wished for this publishing house and built it to keep the energy and the spirits in, but you don't get the nitty gritty and correct me if I'm wrong anyway of like what happens after that. Like he finds the Perkton, kills the guy. How is it related to Nazi Germany's fascination with the occult? Like you don't necessarily get that all spelled out for you. Which I mean, maybe harkens to again, not a dense novel by any means. So kept it kind of light and kept it moving. Doesn't really, not a hyper detailed book at any point. Not a slog of a read at any point. Just keeping it quick and moving and fun, which is something to be said for that. I was mentioning that it's in paperback because I wonder if it is, obviously inspired by the sort of horror publishing boom that's when it takes place. And I wonder if it is kind of aspiring to be one of those like those sort of dollar horror novels you get off the spinner rack at the grocery store. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Invoking that a little bit. Not because I know this came from, I had read, who's this come from? Quirk, who I believe also, I don't know if you know Grady Hendrix, but he wrote in the film world, he wrote Satanic Panic.
Ooh.
This year. He wrote that. But he also wrote one of my favorite books of the year, the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. And he also wrote a great book called Paperbacks from Hell, which is all about 80s horror paperbacks. And I believe that he had spoken to him a little bit when writing this book. So I think maybe that it is true. And obviously, I'm sure Andrew Shaffer like came up in that time and grew up with those books and in that era. So I think maybe that's what it's hearkening to. The back half of the book, the setup is all good, but the back half where it really gets into the horrorness and the campiness, that's when it gets good. So much so that I was like, when I got the sense that it was winding down, I was like, oh man, it's over already? Did you feel that at all?
Yeah.
Once
it's like 100 pages of build-up. And then a little bit less than that of just conclusion.
Yeah.
So it's
by the time it gets to where Lucy is tied down to a table with holiday string lights and about to be sacrificed by masked cultists.
Yeah.
It's like, hell yeah, we got here. But then I was like, damn, there's not that much of the book left. So I guess we're going to get out of it pretty quick too. And we did, but a fun, a very like you could very easily adapt this into a movie and like not leave anything out. It's like, it's ready for that. Maybe it will. I don't know. A nice holiday horror film. You never know.
Yeah. Who'd you see playing? What's his name? Nightingale.
Fabian Nightingale. I paused on it for a while, but I eventually came up with Taika Waititi.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Klaus from Umbrella Academy.
Oh, I still haven't watched Umbrella Academy, so I don't know who plays Klaus.
Hold on, let me get his name.
Yeah, I saw Taika, New Zealand accent, not a British accent.
Mm-hmm.
Fabian, this is very, very British, but just kind of stumbling through life, drunk, very, very funny character. And I was like, I started to see a mustachioed Taika playing Fabian Nightingale.
Robert Sheehan.
Robert Sheehan. Okay. Yeah, pull him up for me. Pull him in close. Oh, he looks like a hunkaroonie.
Let me see if I can find some images of him.
What a love boat.
And
yeah, I thought that character was fun. And who also eventually becomes kind of the story's Stephen King composite. That becomes the horror novelist that she's looking for, and eventually turns him into a sensation. I definitely thought he was actually dead at the end. I was a little sad.
Yeah,
I was a little sad when he was going, but she does save it. And that's the thing. It gets wrapped up really quick. Once you find out that the young Blackwood is the true villain behind everything, and you find out that the Perkton, is anybody that Lucy condemns or gets in her way. All these terrible things are happening because of the Perkton. She's basically unintentionally directing its energy at people. Well, Blackwood is the sort of villainous human character posing as a friend the whole book. He's the one sort of plotting in the background to get the Perkton so he can take control of the publishing house and also just have dark magic power in his life. The one scene, is it Stanley, the illustrator for the publishing house?
Where he gets
can't find his pencil, and then it gets lodged up his fucking nasal canal. Oh my god. That, yeah, like just the eraser sticking out of his nostril. Oof, that was gruesome. The deaths are very, very gruesome when they get.
Yeah, they are.
Those scenes were great. That's, I guess, really, part of it is like, hey, this is a fun, light read and got through it really fast. On the other hand, I'm like, it kind of wrapped up too soon for me. I was like, you could have written, you could have written more of this. Once it really gets into sort of the meat of the plot, which again is when I think, okay, Blackwood's the villain. She figures out what the Perkton can do. It's like we're on the way out. We're wrapping up the third act, so it ends really fast. To some people, that'll be an appealing thing. So it'll be a good thing. I could have done a little bit more. You quite literally could not have done a little bit more. Or you'd be reading it right now.
I could have done like another 40 pages. I still have an hour to go.
Yeah.
So, I could have done 250, 300 pages probably.
Yeah. I could have done more. There was stuff I wanted more of and didn't get, sadly, because it ended. But
give me a flashback to when he comes back from the war. Give me a little bit more Fabian Nightingale. But yeah, it was a fine, quick read.
Yeah, it was. That's maybe just not the kind of book he was looking to write. Maybe that was a thing. Something festive and fun. Something you can read in December and be done with it.
You can read in a day.
You could read it in a day if you so chose. Yeah, no, I dug it. I dug Secret Santa. It was fun. It was fun. Got through it quick. It was light. It was entertaining. And at the end of the day, that's probably the most important thing. You don't want to make a boring book. You don't make a boring book about a Perkton, ever.
Perkton.
What do you think of that one? Germans are so sick of my shit between that and Krampus, man. I'm like trying to get it right.
Krampus.
You try to get it on the money. Krampus.
Krampus.
You try to. You try to get it on the money, and it actually goes all the way back around and becomes the worst, fucking impersonation. Insulting.
Borderline Borat.
Borderline Borat. You'd hate to see that. Yeah, I dug it. Secret Santa was good, enjoyable. I know we're about to exit that time of the year. This will be the last time you see the green and red background. I'll have to sadly unplug. I don't want to unplug this tree. At the end of the night, I turn all the lights out except this and go to bed. Just the best calming glow. Love it. Maybe I won't. Maybe you'll just see me keep this goddamn tree up all year. Every episode.
Just get some smart LEDs. String those up.
I love the tree. I like it. And I never thought did I ever point out this guy to you? This guy peeking out?
No.
You see him?
Yeah, I see him. Is that a Mothman? Is that a plush Mothman?
He means more to me than you will ever know. My little buddy always speaking.
That is so awesome.
I love this little guy. Got him off Etsy. Audio listeners don't know how to perceive this. You're gonna have to come to the YouTube channel just to see how fucking cute my Mothman plush is. I wish I could tell you the name of the store I got it from, but if you type in Mothman plush on Etsy, I'm sure there's not many.
You'll find it.
I'm sure there's not many. He's got great, big, beautiful red eyes. I haven't named him yet. Maybe Indrid? What do you think?
Indrid the Mothman?
Indrid Cold, the supposed Men in Black who was on the Mothman case. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll workshop a little bit, but I love him. Hey, thanks for watching and listening. Thanks for watching and listening to the very last Really Scared of the year.
This is the shortest episode we've ever done. I think so.
My God, yeah. This shows you just kind of how tired and worn down we are,
But I promise season 2 is going to be kicked off with a bang, and every month is going to be a banger.
It's true. Let me reiterate this. And hey, I don't know when we'll get to the clean click again. That's become the meme of this show, right? The 2.5 hour plus runtime. We're not doing it. If we're going to do it tonight, we're going to have to come up with something else to talk about. We're not doing it tonight. I don't even know I think we did it last week, right? We did it with Black Christmas. We rocked the clean click, I believe.
Did we?
I think we got like 245 or something like that. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is that might be the last one you see for a while. I don't know. That's going to be all up to what kind of conversations we're having in 2021. But we're going to be having a guest on every freaking week.
The guest episodes are typically our longest episodes. So
that's true.
We might be doing clean cleeks every week.
Clean cleeks every week. That's nothing I could be mad about. 2021, it's going to be a fantastic year for this show. It's going to be a fantastic year for this channel. I'm very excited, of course. Next Thursday, I can't believe I'm saying it already. Next Thursday, going to be joined by the wonderful Videodrew to talk about Baskin. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I don't know. Maybe it's Baskin. I don't know my Turkish accents, but I guess we'll find out. I still got to watch the film. But I'll say Baskin for now. Turkish film, horror film, streaming on Shudder.
It's about Baskin Robbins, so check it out.
I believe it's on VOD as well. I haven't watched it yet, but I watched the trailer. Looks wild. Looks nasty.
The poster looks sick, so I'm excited to watch it.
Getting some like real Clive Barker vibes from it. So I'm excited to check it out. Excited to find out why, when posed with the question, that was the one that Videodrew chose. I think that's going to be a real fun way to get to know our guest of, you picked this. Why did you pick this? How did you engage with this? How did you find this for the first time? I think it's going to be a different kind of vibe and a different kind of conversation in 2021, but holy shit, I'm so excited for it.
Yeah. We might sacrifice, something, do some sacrifices, do some seances. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll have a couple surprises along the way. The best is yet to come for Really Scared, and is going to get better and better and better. So again, thank you, Ghouls and Goblins, who have listened and who have watched through 2020, who helped this little teeny tiny horror movie podcast grow to the best thing it could be. It's been so fun, and I can't wait to do more of it. Watch more horror.
And in January, every week, we're talking about Joe's apartment.
We're not. No, we're not. That's going to be a special episode where you are the guest and you choose Joe's apartment. I think it's the only way we'll get to do an episode about Joe's apartment. That's the only way. So, and unless you're listening and you're like, I'm going to be the Joe's apartment guest, shoot your shot. Go for it. I'm sure you'll be the first one. I'm sure it won't be taken. I can tell you that much. But no, we've got a great January lined up. We're already booking February. It's going to be awesome. Watch more horror. Talk about more horror. It's been a great year.
Watch more Joe's Apartment.
Watch more Joe's Apartment. It's been a great year for horror film. It's been a great year to talk about horror, and we're going to keep it rolling in 2021. So to that, I say thank you, Ghouls and Goblins. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the other side. Have a very happy, very safe new year. Thank you, and good night.